Welcome back to my channel. Each sentence will be voiced by two voice actors. The first will be at normal speed, the second will be slower. If you do not understand the sentences, turn on the subtitles in your language.
I am turning the sound of the radio down.
I am turning the sound of the radio down.
On Saturdays, I often get up at noon.
On Saturdays, I often get up at noon.
Do you have any idea who that might be?
Do you have any idea who that might be?
The current situation of the country isn't good.
The current situation of the country isn't good.
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
The police tracked down Tom to his house.
The police tracked down Tom to his house.
We are all eager to watch the movie.
We are all eager to watch the movie.
I have always wanted to be a singer.
I have always wanted to be a singer.
Golf is now within the reach of everyone.
Golf is now within the reach of everyone.
Have you found an answer to this question?
Have you found an answer to this question?
Were you able to talk Tom out of going?
Were you able to talk Tom out of going?
I really hate to see you in such pain.
I really hate to see you in such pain.
Tom thought that Mary wouldn't have to do that.
Tom thought that Mary wouldn't have to do that.
Apple's new iPhone doesn't have a headphone jack.
Apple's new iPhone doesn't have a headphone jack.
Tom is a better tennis player than I am.
Tom is a better tennis player than I am.
There were a lot of people on the beach.
There were a lot of people on the beach.
I would rather go out than stay at home.
I would rather go out than stay at home.
Maria is in no condition to make a decision.
Maria is in no condition to make a decision.
Be careful not to pour water into acid.
Be careful not to pour water into acid.
It doesn't matter what you read, but how.
It doesn't matter what you read, but how.
Tom doesn't know what he'd do without Mary.
Tom doesn't know what he'd do without Mary.
I do not have an account in these forums.
I do not have an account in these forums.
The population is increasing by leaps and bounds.
The population is increasing by leaps and bounds.
Latin word order is free, but not arbitrary.
Latin word order is free, but not arbitrary.
I think that my life should be more romantic.
I think that my life should be more romantic.
I figured it would be easy to do.
I figured it would be easy to do.
Mrs. Smith gave birth to her second child.
Mrs. Smith gave birth to her second child.
The birth rate is rapidly declining in this country.
The birth rate is rapidly declining in this country.
She's too young to get a driving license.
She's too young to get a driving license.
After dinner, we all went into the drawing room.
After dinner, we all went into the drawing room.
How long are you going to stay there?
How long are you going to stay there?
When did you get back from your trip?
When did you get back from your trip?
How big is your dog? Mine is small.
How big is your dog? Mine is small.
My wife studies until 10 o'clock at night.
My wife studies until 10 o'clock at night.
This is the book you are looking for.
This is the book you are looking for.
Tom was able to swim across the river.
Tom was able to swim across the river.
I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Did you get a good look at her?
Did you get a good look at her?
It was not my flight, and I am fine.
It was not my flight, and I am fine.
How much could I make a week working here?
How much could I make a week working here?
How long does it last, more or less?
How long does it last, more or less?
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
I hate the world because the world hates me.
I hate the world because the world hates me.
I do not have to listen to that.
I do not have to listen to that.
He was rushed by ambulance to the nearby hospital.
He was rushed by ambulance to the nearby hospital.
I am to examine the papers once more.
I am to examine the papers once more.
They say that a large dam will be built.
They say that a large dam will be built.
No less than 20 houses were burnt down.
No less than 20 houses were burnt down.
Do you know the words to that song?
Do you know the words to that song?
You had better do as the doctor advised you.
You had better do as the doctor advised you.
Mary was concerned that Oliver had a secret girlfriend.
Mary was concerned that Oliver had a secret girlfriend.
She seems to know the art of writing letters.
She seems to know the art of writing letters.
Mary showed herself to be anything but talkative.
Mary showed herself to be anything but talkative.
I have no idea what Tom said to Mary.
I have no idea what Tom said to Mary.
I saw you in the park with her.
I saw you in the park with her.
Idiot, you got water in your brain or something?
Idiot, you got water in your brain or something.
You'd better hurry, otherwise you'll miss the train.
You'd better hurry, otherwise you'll miss the train.
I am less afraid of heights than I was.
I am less afraid of heights than I was.
I was discouraged to hear of his death.
I was discouraged to hear of his death.
Someone cleaned my room while I was gone.
Someone cleaned my room while I was gone.
Tom came into the building, carrying a heavy box.
Tom came into the building, carrying a heavy box.
I don't know as much as I should.
I don't know as much as I should.
I want you to cut down those 3 trees.
I want you to cut down those 3 trees.
We haven't come so as to be told off.
We haven't come so as to be told off.
My older sister plays the piano every day.
My older sister plays the piano every day.
The moon, an old woman with no ears.
The moon, an old woman with no ears.
He took pity on me and helped me out.
He took pity on me and helped me out.
He was elected as chairman from among many candidates.
He was elected as chairman from among many candidates.
Tom, by accident, set the curtain on fire.
Tom, by accident, set the curtain on fire.
I wanted to clear that up with you.
I wanted to clear that up with you.
Tom didn't know how to treat his employees right.
Tom didn't know how to treat his employees right.
The park is in the center of the city.
The park is in the center of the city.
Look after the place while we're out, okay?
Look after the place while we're out, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video and comment. You can write your suggestions and requests in the comments. Let's continue.
I wish Tom wouldn't keep bothering me with questions.
I wish Tom wouldn't keep bothering me with questions.
I can't lift a suitcase heavier than 30 kilos.
I can't lift a suitcase heavier than 30 kilos.
Please let me see your passport and boarding pass.
Please let me see your passport and boarding pass.
We'll never get across the river without a boat.
We'll never get across the river without a boat.
Tom checks his blood pressure once a week.
Tom checks his blood pressure once a week.
Do I have to take off my shoes here?
Do I have to take off my shoes here?
It's time for me to be on my way.
It's time for me to be on my way.
This gesture is worth more than 1,000 words.
This gesture is worth more than 1,000 words.
It's because I want to become a translator.
It's because I want to become a translator.
Tom is getting on your nerves, isn't he?
Tom is getting on your nerves, isn't he?
She had 2 beautiful girls at one birth.
She had 2 beautiful girls at one birth.
Oh, what have I done? What have I done?
Oh, what have I done? What have I done?
There are millions of stars in the universe.
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 He has not more than 100 novels.
He has not more than 100 novels.
It is wrong to aim at fame only.
It is wrong to aim at fame only.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
I'm going to play chess with Tom today.
I'm going to play chess with Tom today.
He intended to have visited Naples last year.
He intended to have visited Naples last year.
Did you tell Tom about where you went today?
Did you tell Tom about where you went today?
I intended to have visited him at his office.
I intended to have visited him at his office.
I spent $50 to get my dog spayed.
I spent $50 to get my dog spayed.
I know Tom isn't the one who did this.
I know Tom isn't the one who did this.
Are you looking for oil in the area?
Are you looking for oil in the area?
It's the hardest thing I have ever done.
It's the hardest thing I have ever done.
Do you actually know how to do this?
Do you actually know how to do this?
You're going exactly where I wanted to go.
You're going exactly where I wanted to go.
Tom had better not be wasting our time.
Tom had better not be wasting our time.
Society will be better if we work together.
Society will be better if we work together.
I follow all the political debates on TV.
I follow all the political debates on TV.
Dan is a good name for a hamster.
Dan is a good name for a hamster.
Tom thinks Mary would be perfect for the job.
Tom thinks Mary would be perfect for the job.
I think it helps to learn to pronounce words.
I think it helps to learn to pronounce words.
I've never seen Tom lose his temper before.
I've never seen Tom lose his temper before.
Tom is taller than anybody else in his department.
Tom is taller than anybody else in his department.
It's a pity that you can't travel with us.
It's a pity that you can't travel with us.
I'd like the same style as this one.
I'd like the same style as this one.
You and I both know you saw something.
You and I both know you saw something.
It can't be measured in terms of money.
It can't be measured in terms of money.
For me, your speech is totally beyond comprehension.
For me, your speech is totally beyond comprehension.
I'm not sure why you wanted me here.
I'm not sure why you wanted me here.
Why do you want to buy that for Tom?
Why do you want to buy that for Tom?
What's the name of the ship you served on?
What's the name of the ship you served on?
It's not clear who Tom was trying to impress.
It's not clear who Tom was trying to impress.
No matter how bad you feel, don't give up.
No matter how bad you feel, don't give up.
The Navy was ordered to go to sea.
The Navy was ordered to go to sea.
The young couple was accompanied by a chaperone.
The young couple was accompanied by a chaperone.
The story lived on, passed from person to person.
The story lived on, passed from person to person.
Tom is going to take me with him.
Tom is going to take me with him.
It's a pleasure to be able to help you.
It's a pleasure to be able to help you.
I see no need for me to do that.
I see no need for me to do that.
Did you tell Tom how good the concert was?
Did you tell Tom how good the concert was?
Children, it's time for you to come home.
Children, it's time for you to come home.
What is better than sentences to get acquainted?
What is better than sentences to get acquainted?
This school sets high moral standards for pupils.
This school sets high moral standards for pupils.
I forgot to save the file before switching off.
I forgot to save the file before switching off.
Mary's sentences are short and easy to translate.
Mary's sentences are short and easy to translate.
Tatoeba is created for adding and collecting example sentences.
Tatoeba is created for adding and collecting example sentences.
Do you mean you haven't told Tom yet?
Do you mean you haven't told Tom yet?
It is her that I want to meet.
It is her that I want to meet.
Tom said he couldn't remember that guy's name.
Tom said he couldn't remember that guy's name.
My mother always gets involved in my private life.
My mother always gets involved in my private life.
Tom thought I ate his piece of cake.
Tom thought I ate his piece of cake.
Patch the call through to my office, will you?
Patch the call through to my office, will you?
Yesterday, an explosion occurred at the fireworks factory.
Yesterday, an explosion occurred at the fireworks factory.
Tom spilled a glass of milk on his laptop.
Tom spilled a glass of milk on his laptop.
A sensible person is one who uses good sense.
A sensible person is one who uses good sense.
I know why you aren't going with us.
I know why you aren't going with us.
You don't have to explain it to me.
You don't have to explain it to me.
I would like to request a short recess.
I would like to request a short recess.
I have lots of affairs to look after.
I have lots of affairs to look after.
There is nothing romantic between Tom and me.
There is nothing romantic between Tom and me.
Don't stay up too late. Tomorrow's a school day.
Don't stay up too late. Tomorrow's a school day.
Without your love, my life would be very sad.
Without your love, my life would be very sad. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video and comment. You can write your suggestions and requests in the comments. Let's continue.
The spinal column is composed of 24 bones.
The spinal column is composed of 24 bones.
There is no shame in admitting one's faults.
There is no shame in admitting one's faults.
Tom has been arrested 3 times for assault.
Tom has been arrested 3 times for assault.
Tom did his best to distance himself from Mary.
Tom did his best to distance himself from Mary.
Don't you think Jane takes after her father?
Don't you think Jane takes after her father?
I'm afraid that my wishes will not be fulfilled.
I'm afraid that my wishes will not be fulfilled.
The server tatoeba.org is taking too long to respond.
The server tatoeba.org is taking too long to respond.
She has come to know something like love.
She has come to know something like love.
Our neighbor's ground yields better corn than our own.
Our neighbor's ground yields better corn than our own.
Cryptography is the skill of making and breaking codes.
Cryptography is the skill of making and breaking codes.
I don't know how else to put it.
I don't know how else to put it.
I was so sorry to hear about your wife.
I was so sorry to hear about your wife.
It's a lie we don't believe anymore.
It's a lie we don't believe anymore.
You used to look up to your father.
You used to look up to your father.
We got up at 4 in the morning.
We got up at 4 in the morning.
Be careful what you tell children. They'll believe anything.
Be careful what you tell children. They'll believe anything.
Tom is not quite as tall as Mary.
Tom is not quite as tall as Mary.
It wouldn't do any good if you did that.
It wouldn't do any good if you did that.
That is not how you talk to your superiors.
That is not how you talk to your superiors.
Where were you when the fire broke out?
Where were you when the fire broke out?
There are 50 states in the United States.
There are 50 states in the United States.
The sun scorched the land and withered the crops.
The sun scorched the land and withered the crops.
They don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
They don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Many people are living illegally in the country.
Many people are living illegally in the country.
You don't seem to realize how serious this is.
You don't seem to realize how serious this is.
I heard you were having problems at school.
I heard you were having problems at school.
Every lock of Mary's hair was in place.
Every lock of Mary's hair was in place.
Tom asked Mary to be home by 6:30.
Tom asked Mary to be home by 6:30.
It depends on how you deal with it.
It depends on how you deal with it.
He became friends with her while in the US.
He became friends with her while in the US.
Tom, there is something you should know about me.
Tom, there is something you should know about me.
If you could do it, would you do it?
If you could do it, would you do it?
It's too bad you can't stay a little longer.
It's too bad you can't stay a little longer.
Tom told me to treat others with respect.
Tom told me to treat others with respect.
I just added some potatoes to the stew.
I just added some potatoes to the stew.
Environmental pollution triggered climatic changes all over Earth.
Environmental pollution triggered climatic changes all over Earth.
It's okay to take a picture from the outside.
It's okay to take a picture from the outside.
I was quite at a loss for words.
I was quite at a loss for words.
How big is too big for a phone?
How big is too big for a phone?
For a wise person, one word is enough.
For a wise person, one word is enough.
I only know how to play that one song.
I only know how to play that one song.
Tom showed Mary how to gut a fish.
Tom showed Mary how to gut a fish.
Tom smiled at Mary, but she didn't smile back.
Tom smiled at Mary, but she didn't smile back.
Everything is going as it should be going.
Everything is going as it should be going.
You could lose everything if you're not careful.
You could lose everything if you're not careful.
She was doing very well at high school.
She was doing very well at high school.
When the parents heard the news, they cheered up.
When the parents heard the news, they cheered up.
Tom's wife keeps him on such a short rope.
Tom's wife keeps him on such a short rope.
Tom refused to admit that he'd made a mistake.
Tom refused to admit that he'd made a mistake.
You should stop worrying about the minor stuff.
You should stop worrying about the minor stuff.
I'll see if I can find a map.
I'll see if I can find a map.
I seem to have left my wallet at home.
I seem to have left my wallet at home.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment and subscribe to the channel. See you in another video.